Give it a few minutes for some more guests to come in, and then we'll get started. All right, we can go ahead and kick it off. So welcome everybody to the March Crew Control office hours. My name is Kelsey McGraw. I am the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Property Intel. And for the time being, for the next few months, I'll be taking over Crew Control while Holly is out on leave. And we also have Scott Kavanaugh, the Senior Software Engineer for Crew Control, who will be taking us through the demo today. Today, we're going to cover some updates for calendars, proposals, invoice configuration, time-based scheduling, contract billing, and then we'll have some time for Q&A at the very end. So as you have questions throughout, feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we will get to those as we are able. Just a quick reminder about the Q&A, please use that. It's in the Zoom tools. We will share a recording of the webinar following this. And then just a reminder to register for next month's April 17th webinar. You can find that at the same link and you'll receive reminders about that in our insider email that will go out on April 10th. So with that, I will pass it over to Scott for a demo.
Awesome. Let me get this sharing for y'all. Okay, Kelsey, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. We're all good.
All right. All right. So we're going to cover some new exciting features that we've added this last month between our previous office hour session. So some couple nice, really minor calendar and scheduling enhancements we've made that we didn't actually post these just because they're kind of subtle. You'll now have the ability to, just going to want to show and kind of highlight how flexible and easy to use some of these bulk actions. One action that we didn't have, so we allow you to skip several jobs at once. So that could be for some sort of weather event or just, when crew is down, sick, truck having problems, mechanical problems, you can skip those. If you've accidentally skipped them, we've added the ability to unskip. So you'll see that available for any jobs that you select that were skipped. We'll have that available. Another minor enhancement. A lot of our clients are using this unscheduled job bucket. We'll call it unscheduled job area or bucket bin. We've got a couple names for it. But we now have the ability to, as you're selecting these jobs, we'll maintain the order that they're selected when you schedule them back on the board. So previously, as you moved jobs from the unscheduled area and you scheduled them to your crew on a specific day, they would be alphabetical order. So that's a nice little enhancement that also works as you select them in different orders and choose to move them in bulk. So a bigger change that I'm excited to share with y'all is some enhancements for seasonal one-time services, similar to some of our bulk updates there. So I'm going to activate my snow teams and inactivate some of my seasonal in peak season services. So some of you all are still dealing with snow right now. Let's get that set up. So what we've heard pretty resounding is from our feature requests, we saw a big need to be able to quickly rerun routes when a storm comes through. And so we've added the ability now to be able to copy several jobs at a time and add them to another day. And I could show that real quick. So select all, if you haven't noticed, that is in this details area. If you click this arrow, it drops down the area. You can select all, and then we've added a new copy feature. So this will allow you to copy several jobs. You may have 40 on a route and then add them to a future day. So Snow Team 1 for tomorrow will be running this route. Same with Snow Team 2. Defaulted in there. And Snow Team 3. Oops, sorry, I chose the wrong option there. Copy. So if I go back, if I go to tomorrow, oops, we'll see that they're all added. So previously you'd have to do these one at a time. You'd have to select and enter some information. It's very tedious to do that quickly, especially when you're in a crunch. This is also very useful for any one-time seasonal services you may offer, to be able to just create from a past route, recreate that in the future. So it's a big change. We had at least 8 feature requests come in around the same time, especially in our snow season. So we had this available earlier this, I believe last month. So it was hopefully in time for some of the services you guys are providing. Now we're kicking in the spring in the south, but we still have some rogue storms every once in a while in our northern areas and mountain regions. All right, so that's that topic. So some big calendar enhancements and some options. You can see how to bulk adjust and bulk move, bulk copy your schedule very quickly. Another good enhancement we've heard a lot of folks on is being able to require a deposit by an amount. Previously, we would only let you require a percent. So you'll see a noticeable change here. We used to have a checkbox saying it's asking whether it's required, and then you populate your percent of that percent of the proposal that you'd like a deposit for. Now, instead of just percent, we're giving you the option to provide an amount. So you have a clean round number and also not have, just difficulties in presenting that to the customer, as well as having monthly payments and broken down to the cent. So this should help with any rounding issues you have if you're on providing an annual contract, easier to communicate and also easier to make monthly payments by your customers. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. So a nice little addition. So you could find that on a template. And then back on the proposal as well, we offer that. So I can just give a $500 deposit here, $500 deposits. Anything that doesn't, sorry, let's be percent amounts, 500 there. And we'll have that appear. So you'll see that deposit required for $500. If you edit that and you want to take away a deposit, it won't be required if you don't have a value. So you see that as well. So that's some enhancements to our proposals, which is part of our sales and our plus package. Another change we've made is we've made it easier to configure your default intro and footer text on your invoices. So previously you'd have to create an invoice, modify it, and save it as your defaults, or edit an existing invoice. And oftentimes that's very time consuming and is also not as intuitive as just being able to do that really quickly from this area. This also helps folks that are doing technician-based invoicing, where these defaults will appear on the invoices for your technicians. There wasn't an easy way to configure that before. So really helpful. We've also increased the size, just the visible size of the area. It does stretch out as you fill in details or add more space there. So they can get very lengthy and provide all the information you need and to your customers, as well as any terms and conditions. Again, some kind of want to highlight these are some of the hidden features, is being able to add clean hyperlinks. So you could provide a lengthy URL to a review, have it open in a new window as they click it, so they don't dismiss your invoice. Some really nice kind of enhancements that we've had in place that are kind of a little harder to find and use. So I just want to cover that real quick. Once you have that saved, that will appear on any new invoice going forward. You can also change it as you could today as you're creating those invoices and modifying them. So that covers invoice configuration. Another change, I'm going to switch gears, switch my crew teams out to time-based teams. And so these will be teams that are dealing more with customer appointment times and less of optimizing route based on order of the day. So this is our time-based configuration for a crew. You can set that on a crew at any point in time. If you feel like you're dealing with more customer appointments in a customer schedule rather than having the flexibility to perform your jobs at the appropriate quicker route or an optimized route. If you're dealing more with customer times, this might be a better fit for y'all. With this mode, we didn't have the ability to add multiple jobs, and we've recently added that. We've had a lot of requests for it, and there's a lot of, I'd say, confusion of when to use a single job, add a recurring job, or what is this multiple jobs concept. And I'll kind of talk you through that as well as we have you here. Let's go ahead and define a multiple job. So what multiple jobs is intended for is anything that you have multiple visits, that you're either on a contract and you have flexibility in the schedule, or it's a multi-day project. So these two things are what we find are the best kind of fit for multi-day add multiple jobs. Let me go ahead and kind of quickly show you. You can spread these, build out jobs, one-time visits very quickly. For time-based crews, you're going to be able to provide those appointment times, that time range. And then I want to highlight how this is configured, and it's a little hidden. So based on the billing information, as you complete jobs, if you have per visit selected, you'll be able to invoice each visit as it's completed, and they'll work just like one-time jobs. If you have it at project completion, we'll treat this as a multi-day job or a large project, and each visit is all visits are required in order for the job to be the job, aka project in this case, to be invoiced. So that's a little tough. We do, from the sales area, as you're scheduling out a project, we kind of push you a little bit more to larger projects, since that's what we typically see. But it's also more than normal to have flexibility in your contract of when you perform your service. So that builds out those jobs, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like on the calendar. Let's say it's an 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. appointment, and I'm going to take that away and add another visit. So it'll increment it by a day automatically for me and kind of default the times for me. And then you could provide what this is going to be. Let's say it's two repairs. We've got it at per visit, which means we're going to invoice each visit and not just the total project across all days. And I need to put a customer. All right, I get my Dave Smith's my go-to. So you'll see Dave Smith, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for both days. When I complete them, let me kind of stretch this out a little bit so you can kind of see that we get this nice order. So you'll get that counters of the total job count, as well as where these jobs are in that progress. So that's what's kind of nice. That gives you a nice clear visual of what position this job is in your contract, as well as how many you have to complete. So you can kind of helps with that scheduling. The downside to add multiple jobs is that you're not going to be able to quickly change them. So we're a recurring weekly mow. You could change all the dates for all visits very quickly when it's on a schedule. When it's off a schedule, you won't be able to do that. So you have to individually change each visit. So it's trade-offs there. It's really good for, when you're set to be when you are contractually obligated to perform a certain number of jobs, but you have a lot of flexibility of when they're performed. Also really good for multi-day jobs or large projects, and that's what we kind of push that for. So that's it in a nutshell. You could theoretically add a single job from multiple jobs. You could theoretically use it for recurring work, but there's some trade-offs there. So I just want to point that out. With that, another billing option we have is included in contract billing. So when anything's included in contract billing, we say it's not invoiceable because we're sending out an automated contract each on your schedule. So I'm going to cover contract billing since we made an enhancement there as well. So if I go into a customer, go to the billing area, this is our contract billing feature. Here you'll be able to define an automated frequency for either charging making a payment. A monthly payment is typically what we see, or you could send out a monthly invoice. You are able to define that invoice. So it's usually part of a package. We'll say it's a $150 package. So depending on your selection here, this will send out an invoice that then, let's say based on the start date here, the 20th of each month, I can set an end date of when I want this schedule to stop sending invoices, or I could leave it blank. And so what we kind of give a little information here at the bottom of there'll be monthly invoices for $150. It's beginning on 3/20 and it won't end. It'll end until the customer says they don't want to renew my contract. Otherwise, if you're on an annual contract, you could set it to the end of that contract, the last payment. And also these will be the monthly breakdowns tied to typically your package. So one enhancement we have made to this is we have allowed you to be able to hide line item pricing. So if I unselect show line item prices, the invoices that are generated are generally just like our invoices that you create one off. They won't show the line item price breakdowns. You can also individually hide the line item itself. So if you want to just hide materials and have maybe the materials here are in another item, say there's mulch, maybe there's 20 bags of mulch for $50. You could hide this, but also make this $0 because this is hidden as well. So you just have one bronze package and you're still at $1,000 here. So that's kind of an option, some flexibility on how you could hide specific line items and their prices, and then how you could not disclose your prices in total. So just want to cover that. And I feel like these are all the hardest to demo and hardest to talk about areas because they're really powerful, but there's a lot of configuration to them. So not used too heavily, but when they are, they're used. It's like not used by a lot of folks, but when they are, they're used heavily, and there's a lot of power with them. So with that, that's everything we have on our side.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Those are very exciting improvements. We don't have any questions or any chats that have come in. Stay on for another minute or so and see if any more come in before we wrap up for the day. But just as another reminder, this will be posted to YouTube and then you'll receive a link afterwards in an email. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for our next Insider coming out on April 10th. And oh, we do have one question. Okay. Can images be pulled in for our existing customers? We sell and service docs.
We don't have a way to quickly import images for customers. It's also another topic. We don't actually have attachments on a customer. We're kind of looking at that as well. So I'd say the answer is no, and TBD on whether we better support that. Right now it's on kind of a job level, and once they're part of the job, you can kind of copy that forward. But it's a great topic, and I'll add it. Again, anytime you have a need, the best way to request that is using this feature request option. So you'll be taken to a form, you'll fill that in. That's funny. I'll double check that that's working. And this is another form. If you have an immediate issue, you can contact our support team. So for feature requests that are coming in. We look at that about once a week, and we'll kind of prioritize that and kind of get a feel for that. Helps us get a really feel for what folks need. So really powerful for us.
Cool. And then we've had a couple more come in. Do we have a demo with test data that shows the QuickBooks online integration?
We don't, and I'd have you reach out to our support team on that. They can talk you through that. And that's another area we can also improve. It's just getting more documentation around that.
Awesome. And next, can you talk a little bit more about why hiding those line items in invoicing can be so powerful? Like maybe different use cases. This user is trying to decide if that's a feature that they should be using.
Hard to say. It's honestly not something that we've kind of given as a guidance to use. It's more of folks are asking us for it. So what we've seen is just not wanting to disclose material pricing or that breakdown between labor and materials, just so they don't have to negotiate too hard in that part of it. Trying to think of other use cases. I think hiding it, adding it for internal purposes allows you to build that invoice easily and not disclose every minor detail. So you can actually build a line item you want to present, but hide others just to help you create that invoice. So it helps with invoice building as well.
Yeah, I'll also add to, like, on the property intel side, we have the ability to hide pricing and proposals, and that can be powerful too if you're proposing work and maybe somebody else is bidding at the same time, that your customer doesn't turn around and try to do like a meet or beat type of pricing deal with your competitor. So that's another potential use case. Then we have another question. Is there any way to make an existing single job into a recurring job? For instance, a single lawn service that a client is happy with and would like to continue using your company for biweekly.
The only way I can think of is you're just gonna have to recreate that job as a recurring job and start it after that one-time job. That's the best I've got for you. You might be pointing at a lot of notes and a lot of details with that service that you'd have to copy over, but unfortunately that's the best we've got right now. So that's a good thought. So I'll kind of note that as well on my side.
Awesome. Cool. Well, it looks like we have gone through all of the questions that have come in. So just again, one final reminder, be on the lookout from me later today with the recording. If you have any questions that come in, the reply to will be my email address. So anything that you think of after we get off here, feel free to shoot that over. I'll work with Scott to get you an answer or get you to the support that you need. But other than that, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next month.
Thank you all.